Yeah, I'd say so. The Backrooms movie has finally dropped, and it seems that everyone and their grandma has gone to go see it. Now, I'd say it's worth watching, especially if you're already into the Backrooms content. I'm someone that doesn't know a thing about the Backrooms lore, only knowing the original 4chan post and image that went along with it, and I think that the movie nailed the things it needed to nail to make it a worthwhile watch. Don't get me wrong, it's not perfect. There are still problems in the movie that bog it down, but I think that it hits the most important aspect of a Backrooms movie, and that's, well, the Backrooms themselves. What I think the movie does exceptionally well is the presentation and look of the Backrooms. If you walk in your theater wanting to see Backrooms, you're certainly gonna get that. The set design and props of the Backrooms is what I think makes it worth watching. They did a fantastic job on creating the look of the Backrooms. Think of the original image but expanded by times 10. If you find that photo unnerving, you're definitely gonna find how the Backrooms look in the movie unsettling. With the piss yellow walls and constant buzzing of the lights, each room gives off that feeling. Every room in this movie looks the same, yet different. There's objects stuck in the walls and floors, actually no clipping through them. You'd think that your Gmod map was glitched. As they were exploring each room, the constant thought that it would be very easy to get lost in this maze, that's where I feel that they mastered the unsettling fear of actually walking through the Backrooms. Now, personally, I don't find the Backrooms to be as unnerving as most people, I think. In fact, I feel that they look quite comforting in a weird way. I've always liked the yellowish lighting that those light bulbs give off, and the pattern of the walls reminds me of the old design that offices or homes had back in the day. I've always found a strange kind of peace in the Backrooms, and that's really all I was feeling while they were exploring each room. But I can clearly see how someone could find this unnerving. Getting transported to a place where nothing makes sense? I don't know. If I was taken there, I'd probably fall asleep to the buzz of the lights while the Backrooms entity licks my ears. It's here where I'd say the movie's greatest strength lies, and what I think most people are wanting to see in a Backrooms movie. Another positive is the actor that plays the main protagonist, Chiwetel Ejiofor. Can butcher that. Spoiler warning from here on out. He plays Clark, a failing furniture business owner who stumbles upon the Backrooms, as you do. Chiwetel plays him wonderfully as Clark struggles after the events of his wife leaving him and kicking him out of his house, talking with his therapist named Mary to help overcome these struggles. It's here where I find his acting to be great as Clark. He's full of emotions during these therapy sessions. He's angry as he finds it unfair that his wife would do such a thing. His performance felt natural, making the character's emotions genuine as he has trouble connecting with other people. He handles these vulnerable moments well, particularly when he loses his mind in the Backrooms talking to Mary. Clark is unhinged and shows us that the Backrooms have taken his mind, cutting these creatures and eating them as they have yummy cake inside. From start to finish, I find Chiwetel to really carry the bulk of the acting in this movie. He makes great work of the script that was given to him, which itself was nothing that special. I want to quickly talk about the director of the movie before diving into the negatives that I have. Backrooms is directed by Kane Parsons, who, as you may or may not know, is 20 years old, making him the youngest director in A24 history to direct a film. He was one of the first persons to create Backrooms content on YouTube. I find that fascinating. Hollywood is willing to take a chance on these young and hungry YouTubers to create these large films. We've seen this previously earlier in the year with Iron Lung, directed by Mark Fishback, aka Markiplier. That movie generated over $51 million worldwide with a budget of about $3 million. That's a good return right there. Recently, the movie Obsession, directed by Curry Barker, another YouTube turned director, is going ape wild. Every week bringing about more eyes and money to the box office. These executives are starting to see that these YouTubers are bringing something special to the table. Also, these movies being a horror movie doesn't hurt. Whether it be the fans themselves, like in Markiplier's case having nearly 40 million subscribers with a loyal fan base, or the ideas that they made come to life because of YouTube, such as Kane Parsons. Kane has been uploading these Backrooms videos for around 4 years, with the first one gaining 81 million views. It was back in 2023 where A24 asked Kane if he'd be willing to direct the upcoming Backrooms movie, with him saying, yeah, sure. He had to have been over the moon hearing that news. How could you not be? Practically bringing your baby to life on the big screen with a way larger budget than a tin can and 3/4 he had while on YouTube. It's wild, the effort that this man put into the Backrooms content while on YouTube, utilizing just a CGI program called Blender. If you've watched his YouTube videos before, you can see the amount of skill and passion that this young man has put into it. I'm only like a couple years older than him. Creating videos similar to that of the Blair Witch Project, I just think it's remarkable that these high-level Hollywood executives are entrusting these skilled YouTubers to create the fully fledged projects. Who knew that any small-time YouTuber could make it to the big leagues? Hey, who knows? You may see me in a couple years create my very own movie. It'll be called The Man Who Blew Up Taco Bell's Bathroom, based on a true story. Let's talk about some of the negatives that I found while watching the Backrooms movie. The biggest flaw that I had while watching was simply just the story structure. People are calling this movie slow and boring, and yeah, I can kind of see where they're coming from. But then again, what did you expect from a Backrooms movie? The whole point is to be unnerved by the Backrooms themselves. However, I think that they could have picked up the pacing by just switching up the structure of the story. When Clark first goes into the Backrooms, he isn't fully terrified. He's just curious, so he walks around and we see him go through every single room, step by step. I think it's nice that we get to see a lot of the Backrooms, but then that takes away some of the intrigue we had when they do it again when Clark goes with his employee and her boyfriend filming it, and one more time with Mary as the camera follows each and every step every time. I just think that they should have teased it a little bit the first time with Clark, which would make sense as how would you react if you walked through a wall leading to a piss yellow Mexico filter world. I'd just look at the first room maybe, and if I'm really ballsy, look at another one, then run out of there, calling my friends to come check this out and prove I'm not losing my mind. But the movie had Clark already exploring this foreign world for the first time, taking away some interest. If it was up to me, I would show most of the Backrooms the second time around with Clark's camera crew and their shitty VHS camcorders. They could probably spend more time this way to make up for the cut content, because that's where the Backrooms look the spookiest and the best. I found that to be the best part of the movie. Then the third time around, have Mary come by and we see some of the Backrooms in a clearer view because of the actual cinema camera. This simple change can drastically change the pacing of the film, in my opinion. I really don't want to take away what makes the Backrooms great, with it being the Backrooms itself. I believe this will just enhance the interest and feel of it. For God's sakes, we don't need to have a Kanye PNG running around to keep viewers interested. Another thing that I found weird about the movie is how Clark acts after being captured by his pirate self. After Mary comes by to check on Clark, she gets taken and kidnapped by Clark. She's tied up to a chair at a dinner table with Clark and 3 other individuals, we'll say. Clark then goes on a rant about his life and the Backrooms. He went fully crazy. Like I said earlier, I enjoyed that performance. It's just that it seemed to have come out of nowhere. They could have offered more of an explanation for it. How did he lose his mind? Was it his pirate version that corrupted him? Was it just him living in the Backrooms for a while? I don't know. They really didn't explain it. He's just stabbing these creatures and eating them for nourishment now, making friends with them as well, I guess. How was he able to make friends with them? Brings a lot of questions, which could be the point, I suppose. Moreover, they should have just kept those creatures in the shadows and hidden. That way it leaves more for the viewer's imagination, because they show us pretty up close how Pirate Clark looks and how the other entities look. They did a pretty decent job given what they had to make them eerie looking. It's just that you can tell that they didn't have the highest budget to make them the best and realest that they could look. Pirate Clark kind of just looks like a big puppet running around these hallways, which credit to Robert, the last name, who played Pirate Clark. He's almost 8 feet tall, doing a great job with the creepy mannerisms of Pirate Clark. It's just they could have simply kept them in the shadows and left them to our imagination, because there's nothing scarier than our own minds. On the final note, the ending did leave a little to be desired. Like I mentioned way earlier in the video, I hardly know anything about the Backrooms lore. Is a corporation heavily involved in the making of these Backrooms like it was in the movie? Please inform me in the comments. In my humble opinion, I would have liked it to be just a random phenomenon that happened to Clark, or maybe other people as well. There's no need for an explanation that a company has created it and is finding ways to exploit it. Just that in this world, Backrooms exist for whatever reason. Maybe in this universe, everyone's fear of the unknown and isolation has manifested into the Backrooms. That'd be fun. Not a major criticism. It's only that I feel most horror movies have to have a reason for things to exist, like the government created it and is very evil. All in all though, I found the Backrooms movie to be an interesting watch for someone that's not an avid fan of the content, with it having some notable negatives attached to it. Nonetheless, if you are a big fan of the Backrooms, go out to your local theater to watch it, as it has many things you might enjoy from it. I give Backrooms a 6 out of 10. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe, as it means a lot to this little old YouTuber. Thanks for watching, peace out, and have fun.